Hello, dear students. In previous lecture of general principle and procedure for isolation of elements, we have studied about the Allingham diagram. This is the last topic we discussed there. Okay, Allingham diagram, which is helping us to find out a good reducing agent. Because in the second step, we know that the second step, the first one is the concentration of ore. Okay, the second one is isolation of crude metal from concentrated ore. Okay, but we know that the second step is a two-step process. First, convert metal to metal oxide, which can be do by calcination roasting. Second one is the reduction, and this reduction particularly can be done by using Allingham diagram. Okay, now we also discussed about what are the different Allingham's mean to say different reducing using agent we can use, that we can sort out by Allingham diagram. Its limitation also we have discussed. So today we will discuss that how Allingham diagram helps us in some general elements extraction particularly. Okay, the first one we will discuss about the iron, that how iron is getting reduced, oxidized or converted into isolated crude metal, okay, by using the Allingham diagram. So first step is the same one. Let's say we will start with the hematite, particularly Fe2O3, that is the ore of the iron. From here we are extracting this one. Okay, now how we will discuss? So first of all, we must know about the blast furnace, because blast furnace is the equipment used to extract iron. Okay, it is something like this. In this, here is charge hooper. Charge hooper contain concentrated ore plus coke plus limestone we are putting in this. I will tell you about the function of the limestone as well. So from here, this whole mixture of concentrated and the rest of thing, coke and limestone, we are providing from here. So this blast furnace over here have two vents particularly. These vents are allowed blown hot air inside, blown hot air. 2 years they are known as. From here also hot air we are providing. Okay, now here you will see two more particularly at a different height even. So this is the basic structure of the blast furnace, and you will see that this in blast furnace, here also a vent particularly for exhaust gases here. Exhaust gases like CO plus CO and CO2 mixture usually exhales from here. Okay, now how this blast furnace is working, let's discuss that. That in this blown air, hot air is passed through there, and the coke is used to maintain the temperature in this blast furnace, and different temperature ranging from varying from 200 Kelvin to round about a 500 to 800 Kelvin temperature. Okay, sorry, the lower one is the higher temperature, the above is the temperature is little bit lower. Okay, here the temperature is the highest, that is almost 2200 Kelvin temperature. So what happen at different ranges? When this concentrated ore comes down, so the coke will start burning particularly, and up to here coke has burnt completely. That's why the temperature is higher here. Okay, now what happening? This Fe2O3 over here, okay, in this region, Fe2O3 combine with carbon and get converted into Fe3O4 plus carbon monoxides. Okay, and in the same time this limestone get converted into calcium oxides, okay, leaving the carbon dioxide outside. Okay, now when we move down particularly, mean to say a little bit higher temperature range, at that time iron Fe3O4 by the help of the carbon monoxide which we already have start getting converted into FeO plus carbon dioxides. Okay, and carbon monoxide also itself start combining with oxygen to get converted into carbon dioxide particularly. Second thing, what happens at here, this limestone, I am telling you the purpose of the limestone now, that this calcium limestone will give us calcium oxides, and this calcium oxides, if impurities like silica is present, that will combine with limestone and gives you calcium silicate, okay, which is acting as a slag. So this one, the limestone is serving the purpose, flux particularly here, to remove the impurities which is left behind after concentration even. Okay, particularly silica remain in iron, so that's why we add limestone particularly. Okay, now as we move down, the FeO, iron oxides combined with carbon, that converted carbon monoxide get converted into iron and carbon dioxide particularly. Okay, so this whole process happening, these are the different zone at different temperature range. This final step you will get at a high final zone. Okay, now what will happen, what these two vents are doing here? So here your molten iron will start getting active, molten iron particularly. Okay, and here is the formation of slag. So molten iron we will take from, and slag is the low dense compound which we will separate from here. That is your calcium silicate particularly. Calcium silicate will come from here. Okay, so we remove the impurities from here, and the molten iron which we needed comes out from this exhaust blast furnace. So that's the whole equipment is working in this manner. Okay, so first of all you understand how iron is, what we are putting in the blast furnace, what are the different temperature ranges, and what at different temperature ranges happening. So now whatever iron you comes out from here, that is known as dear pig iron. Okay, what is pig iron? Pig iron is that in which carbon percentage is up to 4%. Okay, carbon percentage how much? 4%. That is known as pig iron particle. Okay, now it is easy to make different shapes from the pig iron. Now we will reduce carbon percentage. Carbon percentage reduces to 3%. Then it is known as cast iron. Okay, which is quite brittle and hard, you can say. Okay, so this is the pig iron which is used to cast many objects. So don't pay attention that cast iron is not, cast iron is quite brittle, okay, hard system, but pig iron is quite malleable kind. So it is used to make equipments particularly. Now we can further reduce even carbon percentage. Okay, and if we reduce further carbon percentage, that is known as wrought iron. Okay, so there are different iron exists, that is pig iron, cast iron, depending on the carbon percentage. If carbon percentage is for pig iron, 3% up to cast iron, and if we reduce carbon percentage a little bit more, okay, so that will known as wrought iron, whose property is quite high. This is called quite malleable even. Okay, very good, fine, pure, you can say wrought iron is the purest form of this particularly your iron. So carbon is using here, we are using, so that's the whole purpose. At what temperature is happening, what it is done by, it is told by which Ellingham diagram. So that's how Ellingham diagram helping us. Okay, so there is one more word I would like to tell you here, that is known as pyrometallurgy. Pyrometallurgy. What is pyrometallurgy? Pyrometallurgy, that you are using heat, particularly heat using to extraction. Heating principle if you are applying, then these are termed as pyrometallurgy. So you have extracted iron by which principle? Pyrometallurgy particularly. Okay, now let's move further for some elements, like which more elements we extract from here. So one is copper from cuprous oxides. Cuprous oxides is particularly here in first oxidation state, copper existing. Okay, cuprous is existing in the first oxidation, copper from cuprous oxides. So that is, you can say Cu2O. Okay, we are extracting this, we are converting. So we use carbon particularly to reduce it, and it will get converted into your copper plus carbon monoxides you will get. Okay, so you will get your here carbon monoxide or mixture of carbon dioxide which is released. So cuprous oxides, if you will see in the aluminum diagram, is available at the topmost. So it is very much easy to reduce the copper particularly. Okay. However, some impurities still left, like copper sulfide, iron sulfide, these impurities. Okay. Impurities particularly in this one. So that's why we use silica particularly as a flux in this case. Okay, silica is serving as a flux. So when it met to the iron particularly, it get converted into iron silicate and plus SO2 get released. This will be acting as a flux. And copper sulfide particularly itself combined with cuprous oxide to get converted into copper plus sulfur dioxide get released. So here you are getting copper, which one? This is known as copper matte. Okay, and copper matte contains impurities like these. Okay, and we remove it by using silica, and self-oxidation reduction also help in the, this is autolytic reduction, mean to say same metal is reducing same one. Okay, that's why these impurities can be removed easily from the copper. And carbon we are using as a reducing agent. We will check out from where? From the aluminum diagram, because copper oxides layer you will find out in the aluminum diagram at the topmost. So it is very easy to, mean to say at very lower temperature we can reduce the cuprous oxide to copper particularly. Okay. However, after removing these impurities from the copper matte, the copper you are getting here is known as blister copper. Blister copper. Why? Because SO2 when released from this copper matte, it will give its a blister appearance. That's why it is known as blistered copper. Okay. Now, second, this is the second one. Now we will talk about the third particle. That is zinc from zinc oxides. Okay. So zinc from zinc oxides also we use the aluminum diagram, and we see that carbon is reducing zinc as well. Okay. But if you compare carbon and zinc line is a little bit lower in case of the aluminum diagram as compared to copper. So that's why a higher temperature, around about 700 Kelvin, it is happening at a lower temperature. I mean to say carbon can reduce copper at a very low temperature. However, carbon, if you need to reduce the zinc oxide to zinc, at that time you have to raise the temperature a little bit higher particularly. So it is easy to reduce copper but not zinc. But all these elements particularly we have discussed, like iron we discussed, copper we discussed, zinc we discussed. So these particularly use what are the process we are using particularly is pyrometallurgy in this extraction process. Okay, so and in pyrometallurgy, which elements is used getting to reduce it? That is your particularly aluminum diagram helping. So aluminum diagram is the helping in pyrometallurgy particularly at a lot. Okay, that's why we discussed aluminum diagram. What is aluminum diagram actually? What is its application? What is its limitation? That's why we have discussed this particular topic in a little bit detail. So today we will read. After that we will also discuss about electrochemical principle, or that is known as electrometallurgy. So electrometallurgy we will start tomorrow. Okay, today whatever elements we are extracting from the pyrometallurgy, that you have to do. So read extraction process for iron, copper and zinc. Okay, this is the first thing. Carefully read them. Then 3 long answer type questions and answer in your rough notebook you will write down. 3 long type mean to say that extraction processes particularly of these 3 elements, iron, copper, zinc, you have to make them that extraction, like extraction process of iron. So you write down those questions with assuming that they of 5 marks. Okay. So first you will read the extraction process for all these, iron, copper and zinc particularly. Iron is quite important. So these are the 3 elements we extract by using the pyrometallurgy. Okay. So today we discussed about the pyrometallurgy. So this is all. Thank you.